No Stephen Conway this week, but we got someone with the alternate initials of CS instead with Chris Samsa. He's here to talk about Fantasticamania. He's here to talk about new beginnings in the USA. He's also here to talk about the New Japan Cup and the contest that he's running from his site, Sport of Pro Wrestling. We got to talk about all of this and more. Maybe a little Aaron Wolf, maybe a little Yota Tsuji, maybe a little everything. Who knows? Maybe even a little Yuya Uemura. But this is Speaking Strong Style, and we'll talk about it all. Welcome to Speaking Strong Style. We're talking about all things New Japan Pro Wrestling. I'm Jeremy Finestone. I'll be in the driver's seat this week instead of Stephen Conway, who's in Parks Unknown. And as I mentioned earlier, this is Chris Samsa of Sport of Pro Wrestling. Chris, how are you today?
I'm good. Thanks for having me. It's a gloomy Thursday afternoon here in Chicagoland, but it is not. It's not cold, so we're doing okay. We're getting there. Well, we're in hoodie weather. We're in hoodie weather here. We're not in jacket weather.
San Jose, it's bright, but it's cold. But like California cold, you know what I mean? Like that wind chill that, you know, most people in the Midwest just mock us for. That's where we're at.
Yeah, I don't know. I think you get some actual cold up in your area of California. We're not talking chill. Like yeah. And I've spent plenty of time in San Francisco, so like I know that cold.
That
and
air.
It's actually cold. Like I don't know. I honor that cold.
I shiver a little when I wear my shorts.
It's not Chicago cold. Like we all know that. And but Chicagoans, we like to be kind about it and say we understand. We're Midwestern folk, you know. We're like, you know, we get it. Like, yeah, it's cold for
polite
you
about it.
Yeah, we try to be.
And
most days.
Polite.
Yeah.
Endlessly polite. We have a lot of stuff to talk about. So much stuff that we didn't even get to able to watch all of it. But we are going to cover all of it. We're going to talk about Fantasticamania first. But life. I don't remember the last time you came on the show. I was walking outside a few minutes ago, and I'm like, when was the last time Chris was on the show? And to me, that's a problem because I should be able to remember, and it shouldn't have been this long. So I'm glad you're back. What are you up to? What's going on in Chris Samsa land?
Did we connect for Wrestle Kingdom this year? I feel like I was pretty quiet for Wrestle Kingdom this year. Everyone went to Japan this year.
We did.
Everyone, all my friends. I stayed in Chicagoland. So yeah, I missed out on some chats this year. Life's good, man. We're doing all right. That's all we can do.
You got a kid now, right?
I've got a child. She's pushing 2. She'll be 2 at the end of the month. She's the best thing that's ever happened to me.
Fantastic.
She's amazing. We don't let her watch wrestling yet. She's starting to understand things, but the concept of fake fighting is probably not something she's gonna understand just yet. So we don't go that route. She was my late night New Japan buddy for a little while there, but she has opinions about what's on the TV now. So yeah, we don't.
She controls the remote, doesn't she?
Well, to some extent. We don't do a lot of TV, but she has I like to say she has a healthy relationship with the television and with screens. I think we're doing really well in that aspect of parenting, and it's not easy, but yeah, she's picked some good stuff, and yeah, she's the best. But yeah, I'm in my little nook of the house where I'm surrounded by musical instruments and amplifiers and pianos and guitars, and my screen in front of me is the delivery method for New Japan Pro Wrestling and Sport of Pro Wrestling and the database that runs behind the scenes that helps New Japan and helps the people get the fun stats and info. So yeah, this is my little area of the world, and I'm happy with my 8x8 that I'm able to fill up now.
Corner office.
Yeah, it's good. It's good. There's a sectional behind me. It's good. We're doing.
Do you ever stop and reflect about how you first started watching wrestling as an adult and where you'd watch it and how you'd watch it and where you find yourself now like with the kid, how to change the habits, how you're still watching it, how you're accommodating all the things that really do have to take priority over this silly habit of ours.
I think about that a lot. I think about that a lot. Well, so like my thing with wrestling is like I decided to get back into wrestling. Like I had pretty much completely vacated the pro wrestling world, and then like as an adult, and I think this is a really important like lesson to share with people is like it's important to allow yourself to reconnect with things that you enjoyed as a child, as an adult, and that you gave up because you felt like you weren't supposed to like them anymore. Right. Because like that's the thing that happens through maybe your late teens and into your 20s. You're like, I'm not supposed to like pro wrestling anymore, you know, or like I'm not supposed to be committed to making music anymore or whatever it is. Right. Like, and those are two things that I've, you know, in various ways, like had abandoned for a little while and then came back to, and they're like, they really truly are just like these things I enjoy. And when you come to terms with the fact that you can enjoy whatever you want to enjoy as an adult, like that's okay. And once you come to terms with that being okay, and you don't have to like play it cool, and you can just allow yourself to do that, life's a lot better. And I think culturally that's happening a lot more, like superhero movies and nerd culture and
there's so much depressing stuff that's happening that we have no control over, that people are doing nothing but going to safe, happy places that bring them comfort.
So, you know, but I'm a person that just like dives in head first when I'm like, I'm into this thing. I'm like, holy cow, I'm all the way in. And that's how I ended up here ultimately, right? Like that's how I ended up doing, you know, like compiling
getting name checked on broadcast because
I mean like doing all
news.
This stuff. It's like I found a cool lane. I was like, this is neat, I can do this. And then I was like, no, I'm gonna do this. And then I was like, I'm gonna just keep doing it. And now it's just like a thing I do. And
you got your routine, you got your processes.
It's
probably far easier to do it now that you
100%
like the database of information.
Yeah, so like that's the thing. Like in 2019 when I started doing this, I'm doing like manual data entry back years and years and years, and finding different ways to copy and paste things from various databases that already existed. And now I have my own database. I have two versions of it. I have one that's on Excel and is offline that I keep up to date, and I have one that's online that automatically updates itself, which is what I use to do the daily reports or the show reports. And I had a good friend, Jeremy Sexton, who helps with the G1 contest every year. He built that database for me, and also like customized it so I can run those reports with relative ease. So, which gives me more time to like dig in on the nuances. Like any notes that you ever see written on those documents that I put in the Discords or put online, like those are things that I found and typed, like actually typed them in. But like the tables themselves are very automated, which is wonderful. So there are definitely shows that I don't post, but I send stuff along to Chris and Walker that are just stats, like just the tables. And those take me 10 minutes and it's fantastic. And I'm looking at, you know, the anniversary show that is tomorrow morning. And that's what I've got right now. And if that's what I end up sending, because I run out of time, because I'm here talking to you, because I would rather do this than that, that's okay. It's okay. It's okay with everyone, right? Like, it's, you know, I'm in a peaceful place with my spot in the New Japan universe and in the pro wrestling universe. And, you know, part of that is the perspective of a child, and spending as much time with her as I can, and you know, knowing that it's sort of just it's a lane in my life that I really enjoy. So, but yeah, that's
you got a lot of balance in your life, Chris.
I'm feeling balanced. I am. And you know what? And on that, and I can even bring us back to the core topic. I didn't watch a minute of Fantasticamania, and I'm okay. There have been years where I've probably done the same thing, and I've probably told someone on a podcast, like, just I'm gonna act like I'm not there. Like I don't want anyone to know that I didn't watch, you know, like, because I'm supposed to be this guy that's like super in tune. But I didn't, and I'm okay.
I mean,
I'm
okay,
all
here's the thing, and I don't mean this to be like this analogy because it's CMLL, but Fantasticamania is essentially the chips before the meal at a restaurant before like the rest of like the year. Like you're just kind of getting a taste of stuff. You're taking it all in. You're just kind of getting your appetite ready.
Yes.
It's not consequential. There's some good stuff CMLL wise that we touched on and things, but the greater tapestry of New Japan is hardly affected by what goes on in Fantasticamania. And if you're not into it, and if you don't love Lucha Libre, I love Lucha Libre. I do. I just like it's the nice change of pace for me. I could do it all day. Like I talked about last week, I was a little distracted. I had stuff going on. So I was actually kind of thankful it was Fantasticamania because I didn't have to lock in. You know what I mean? Like I could watch it and it was in, it was out. I could tell you that like Soberano and Soberano Jr. and Mistico was exactly as good of a match that you thought it was going to be. You know, the Averno and Atlantis Jr. title change that came out of nowhere, worth your time. But if you don't watch it, like your life isn't going to change.
Right.
It's fine. Everything's okay.
Right. And I wish if I had more time for one more pro wrestling space, it would be CMLL. I would watch a lot more CMLL. And it's the promotion that if someone is really high on something or recommends something heavily, and also in Fantasticamania, I go back and find it. And you know, I can do that. I'm allowed to do that too. So but you know, I try to keep up with US wrestling because I'm not watching Raw, but I try to just keep up on what's going on in US wrestling because I live here and I like to go to wrestling.
It's consequential to your interest to make sure that you're attached to it. Yeah.
Well, yeah, and I think specifically, of course, AEW is I think they do good stuff. So like that's fun, and obviously there's an intermingling that happens between AEW and New Japan, and I have to keep up with that. But yeah, I mean, but like I said, like I'm okay that I didn't watch Fantasticamania. If I happen to be awake and looking for something to watch, I certainly would have flipped it on when there was a card, but life is life. Sometimes you just gotta skip stuff. I never skip a New Japan, like a proper New Japan show. I never just don't watch stuff. And that's sort of my commitment to this community, that I want to be an informed person and I want to have my own opinions and stuff. And I don't feel like Fantasticamania helps.
It's not going to put demerits on your record because
I don't think it helps me inform anything, but I love that it's a tour that exists, and not because it gives me the potential of a break, but because it.
How much are we going to clown the dude that called you a hack because you didn't watch Fantasticamania on X?
It'll happen.
You know what I mean? Like it's just like touch grass, guys. It's okay.
I'll tell you what. There are certain Discords that I could not say this in. Like I just couldn't, and it would blow people's minds. And I'm not. I don't need to speak to which ones they are. Yeah.
There's a wide, varied lifestyle and culture that comes to pro wrestling, right? You have people that eat, sleep, breathe. Like the most important thing in their life is what goes on in pro wrestling. And there were times in my life where I almost felt like I would work and I would do all these things, but I was always trying to make sure I was like up on the latest like wrestling news and just kind of locked in. And it didn't lead to anything. Like the thing that got me to like doing a podcast, being informed, had nothing to do with making sure that I was the loudest, most abrasive person in like the sphere, making sure that my opinion was known. It was cultivating relationships. It was having conversations with people in which we could not necessarily agree, but we would like talk it out in such a way of like, well, if he's right, I wouldn't actually be mad about it because it makes a whole lot of sense. And I choose to participate in a discourse like that, and I just remove myself from them completely. Like I have like a side page of maybe like 20 different discords with pro wrestling adjacent things. I go to like 3 or 4 of them. There's other ones that I'll just go in and I'll just kind of read the room and just kind of see what they're talking about, mainly just to like get an understanding of what other like discourses are about.
Well,
and I'll laugh and I'll just be like, okay, no, nope. It's the Abe Simpson when Bart is in the burlesque parlor and he walks in and he takes off the hat and he turns around and he sees him and he turns around again and grabs his hat and he walks right out. That's essentially my approach to most of the wrestling discourse. And it's not to say that those conversations are not valuable to them, but they don't offer anything to me, and I don't want to rain on their parade.
Yeah. I love that the discords are sort of like the forums, right? From I mean, when I first watched wrestling, it was the forums, and you had to find your forum that you agreed with, and or that you wanted to learn from. And discords are very similar in that way. And there's obviously still the board, right? We all call it the board, right? The board still exists too, and that's
so tough to go there.
It's hard to go to the board. But you got to read the board, and sometimes you got to search your own name on the board and just see if anyone's mentioned in the work that you're doing when you're a content creator.
I've actually never thought to do that, and now I'm horrified.
Yeah. I'm an occasional like drop Samsa in the search guy just to see if people are sharing the work that I'm doing. Mostly because like most of my work is very neutral. I don't do a lot of opinions unless I'm talking to people on podcasts, and even then it's usually pretty tame comparatively. But yeah, so like I like to just see if the work that I'm doing has reach, or the types of work that I do, what type of reach it has, right? The contests or the stats and info, or if I put it on the website versus when I just put it in the Discord, stuff like that. Like I just like to kind of do a little bit of market research about like, how do I get this stuff into the people who cares hands? And not every wrestling fan cares about the type of work that I do, which is totally fine too. But I like to, last year, my commitment was to meet people where they're at in the New Japan community. So like, and where they happen to be is like 5 or 6 really, active New Japan discords. So to meet them where they're at, I post my stuff there. Right. And as opposed to Twitter, because what I was finding is that people don't want to be on Twitter. They feel like they have to be to keep up with sort of a monoculture conversation around pro wrestling.
Right.
And I think a lot of people have migrated to Blue Sky, which is again another that has turned into a different it's less of a monoculture. It's more of another kind of silo, sort of like a Discord. So
yeah, it's not the promised land, but it's just an alternative.
Yeah. It's a kinder alternative, I think, but Twitter's a cesspool. So what do you do? So yeah. So that's sort of my approach to pro wrestling and what's going on right now. And, perfectly honest, like I learned a lot from the guys at Voices of Wrestling that stopped tweeting, and their reach has only gotten bigger. And I really, I've stopped prioritizing social media in the broad way. And I started to, prioritize like meeting people where they are, where they're already talking about New Japan. And my reach is the same. It's the same as it's ever been. And I'm still breaking records on contests and, getting some clicks on some stuff. And honestly, like seeing those conversations, even if I'm not participating in them, like it opens my eyes to things to look at, or people who are also looking at stuff similarly to me. And I get to then, ask them if I can include that in my notes and give them a credit with that maybe they get a shout on if it gets used on the air and stuff like that. And I think that that's a really neat lane to be in too. So because there's a lot of people that look at wrestling in different ways and look at cool stuff. And I think that that's sort of the beauty of this art form that we both love, is that like we can we can all honor that art form in different ways and in the ways that we choose. And some people like to do that by being an edgelord in a Discord, and some people like to do that by like producing content or opening up conversations. And, you know, honestly, both of those are they're both valid because they both open up conversation and they keep people talking about this thing that we really enjoy.
I think back to just the way that you would world build with the various communities. And I think it gave me a little bit of courage to kind of reach out to like the We Work Stiff guys. Because like the predisposition in like this podcasting world is that we all have to be competitive with each other. Like there has to be like one top podcast and the rest of them can just like go suck an egg, you know, like that kind of thing. And you know, like we're 200 episodes in. We Work Stiff. They're not like regular. They come out like every 10, 14 days, just whenever they have enough content.
Yeah, but they're like really 6 hours long.
Style. Yeah. You got Keeping It Strong style, which has been around since like 2016 or 2018.
Just a machine.
And then you got the Super J Cast, which is the one that started it all essentially for like this little Puroscope. And they brought me in, you know, to this podcast meetup in Japan when they learned that there. And they didn't have to do that. You know what I mean? Like they brought me up to their level, and it was so important to me to match that energy and to make sure that that wasn't a mistake on their part that makes them think twice about doing that again in the future for either me or for anybody else. Like that is a gift when you have that kind of access and that kind of reach. And they're like, say, hey man, come along. Why don't you at the party here and we all do this? And it's like, that's the energy that I want to match. And at any point I could have been like a dick, an asshole, just this guy that's like, I'm going to get in front because I'm the most aggressive and I'm just going to kick everyone else to the side. It's like, it just never felt right. And it felt like you could make more friends and allies and create a community better by being the person that you hope treated you in return. You know what I mean? Like be the change that you want to see. And so I have nothing but positive things to say with all the podcasters that I have come across. That includes Jeremy Donovan and Josh Smith, Joel from the Super J Cast, Josh from We Work Stiff. I've never met you in person, but I did get to meet all those guys, and you know, it's like it's one of the best parts of doing this. It's just that, like,
it's the best part.
Yeah, it's the conversations and talking to people around across the world that you wouldn't have any other like similarity or commonality to come together. And then there's one little thing. This one little promotion in Japan that has stood the test of time for 50 some odd years that we all just kind of say, it's like, yeah, that's what makes my heart beat. I'm into that.
And I think, I do think that there used to be more of an era of a little bit of competition when New Japan was like really hot. And I think everyone was trying to coattail and say like, I'm the New Japan guy, and New Japan was on the rise. And then like we all went through the pandemic together, right? Like in one way or another, we all mucked it through the pandemic, which was tough for New Japan fans. We all know. We don't have to talk about it. But we have to highlight.
Went right into AEW world. They just
of course, right.
And they took all those guys that were the gateway. They gatewayed all the way over.
Well, because that's all the same time, right? So the pandemic is also the rise of AEW. And then, you know, we all sort of survived the little bit of post-pandemic euphoria of like crowds are cheering again, and you know, maybe we're gonna make it. And then honestly, like Dominion 2025 happened and they turned Doki, and the world just ended. The show fell flat, and I think all of us, every podcaster person in the New Japan Discords, we were all like, okay, we're all just gonna be in this together. Like we're all just if we're all
trapped
sticking
in here
around.
with this thing, aren't
Yeah,
we?
right. Yeah, it's that. It's like we are trapped and we're all in this together. So even if we disagree or want to make different quips at each other or criticize someone's coverage or, poke at someone who got something
Even
wrong or whatever.
legitimately threatened quitting the podcast around that time.
I mean, I think a lot of people threatened to quit.
I didn't want him to, and I'm glad he didn't. But like,
I mean,
this was like real stuff going on. Like, I think Dave from We Weren't Stiff definitely walked away from the podcast for a little
took
bit.
a minute.
For other things going on.
Yeah,
but it did not help that House of Torture had driven him mad.
Yeah, he took a beat. I mean, everyone around that time, and and I think, but I do think everyone sort of showed up and said, all right, if we're all going to keep doing this, we better keep doing it together because there's no other reason, right? I mean, like the best thing to come out of pro wrestling is meeting people like you, people like Joel, people like Damon. I've had people at my house. I've had, big barbecues for All Out, and we'll do another one for the G1 if anyone's coming to Chicago and we've met or we've talked. Like, just hit me up, and you can come over for a burger or I'm a great cook. I mean, it comes down to it. I'm
put
really
a contact me link on the bottom of Sport of Pro Wrestling.
Yeah.
For anyone listening to this,
people can find me. Yeah, people can find me. And if it's appropriate and you want to drop by, like I'm the backyard's open. And like.
Be cool guys to go.
Just, I mean, you gotta speak up. But yeah, I mean, like that's what it's all about. And like, I don't know, this week's been weird too with the Aaron Wolf stuff and Fale, and everyone's got a different opinion about what Aaron Wolf's supposed to mean, and like some people have really strong opinions about, the reason this thing's happening. And some people are just like, okay to watch and see what's going on, and it's not like let it play out like WWE thing. It's like it's a put it in the context of what matters. Also put it in the context of what really matters to this company. And some people put that in a different place, right? And I think that's okay. But I expected it, so
I did too.
so
like, you and I talked about it, and I'm like, I can't wait for the crash out.
So I guess I have a different opinion, but like I expected it, especially once I saw the bracket, but I certainly expected him an early exit somehow, pre New Japan Cup to begin with. So, yeah, I mean, that's what it all comes down to. And like, we've all got our favorite guys. And my favorite guys just happen to be the guys that have been there for a while. So I don't give a shit about Aaron Wolf. Like, sorry. Like, and I get that he's a big bet from New Japan and I want the company to succeed. But it ain't my money. So that's okay.
He's a young lion. He's wrestling like a young lion.
Sure.
And you expect him to be wrestling at a higher level. And like, it's just not going to happen.
I mean, I want him to be a good wrestler.
I do too.
But
but I'm seeing it play out on every show. There is no illusion to me of where this guy is at in the ring.
Yeah.
And watching him string these moves together, like more and more each match, it's gonna take time. And when I saw that he was in the match with Don Fale in the first thing in an insulated tournament, I was like, oh, this dude's done early.
I mean, it was either
they put him on the program, they put him on the cover of the program, and then they bounced him in the first.
That was either gonna be his triumph, his only triumphant moment of this tournament, or he wasn't gonna have a triumphant moment of this tournament. And they chose a story, because otherwise, I mean, I don't know. I can't. I don't want to litigate why the Aaron Wolf thing doesn't seem to be working, and a lot of it's how he's been booked, and I also don't want to litigate why he's being booked that way, because I don't know. I have some hypothesis, but I don't know. But like, they see value in this story with House of Torture. House of Torture is the thing that exists in New Japan. And, for almost 6 years now, we've been talking about it like we don't want it to. But it's
like
probably
role to play, but this is not the role it should be playing right now.
Yeah. And without Evil, I'm less accepting of House of Torture existing, because I think Evil was the perfect version of
I know.
what it needs to be. Because Evil did the whole thing without winking at the camera, and he wasn't just a dopey goon. And like all that's left in House of Torture,
the perfect mustache twirling villain.
Yeah.
That always had a plan.
Yes. And Dick Togo was the perfect Boris to his Natasha. I mean, like, it was this Rocky and Bullwinkle thing that I honestly came to enjoy when it was Evil. But the rest of the House of Torture can pretty much get in the bin, if you're asking me. Like, I don't like Ren Narita. I don't think any of them bring anything unique to the table besides like cookie cutter pro wrestling goon. And I think there's some feelings about that with especially with Aaron Wolf being so tied in with them. But we all know what's happening. They're hiding him. They're protecting him.
They're trying to protect him.
They're protecting him from being exposed as someone who's not a very good bell-to-bell wrestler yet.
They're not doing very good. I think they're
trying. Okay, let me rephrase that. That's what they think they're doing.
Thank you. Yes.
Yes.
This is a poor attempt at something that they should be much better at being able to do with the talent that they have there.
Yes.
But for whatever reason, the disconnect of being able to properly, like, smoke and mirrors, hide his faults is just falling flat.
Yeah. Yeah. And I mean, he suplexed Fale in that match, and that was sick. It was great. It was cool. It was a moment. And you sort of thought we're headed towards a win, but House of Torture wins. I
do appreciate that they put House of Torture only on one side of the build, so that the other side is basically like free of knowing that House of Torture is. Chase Owens.
You got Yujiro. Chase and Yujiro.
I don't really think they're going anywhere based off of the booking, but yes, okay, I take it back.
Yujiro hasn't won a singles match in New Japan in like 4 years.
Right.
And it was like a double count out or a count out in a G1, right? Was his like
Chase Owens will never get past not being able to ride a horse in his own entrance video.
Oh, I can't talk about it. I can't. I've heard things. I know too many things about that. You can't bring it up.
Real quick, let's throw some comments out here. Brad mentioned if Wolf can get to be like Oleg and JPW gets a win, Oleg is awesome. The thing about Wolf is, Oleg looked exactly like Wolf did when he first started. And Oleg has gotten to that point, but it's taken 5 years. There is an end game here, and they don't have 5 years of the audience being patient with Wolf to get to that point. The pressure is on him to get there as fast as possible.
Yes. Yeah. And Oleg probably could have gotten there faster too. Things move slowly in this company. That's sort of, and you don't want them to right now because they need more, they need more and soon because everyone's leaving or everyone has left. But Oleg took a while. It took a while, and he's still developing, for that matter. And they,
but the pieces are mostly there.
Absolutely. They could put a rocket on Oleg the same way they could put a rocket on anyone else from around that era. So Yumura, Oiwa, Umino. They've tried some rockets with Umino. Some of those guys, you could put that same rocket on Oleg and it would work to a certain extent. With the right character, right? I mean, he's not going to be the hero. But I don't know how you get him to the other side of the aisle. So, but yeah, I mean, things take a while, and they are very, very careful with when they put guys in spots. And I think people thought that they were going to do something different with Wolf, and it just doesn't seem like that's what's happening.
The idea that he got the belt made you think that like, okay, they're really
Yeah,
serious with
they're
him.
they're just gonna
Openweight
go.
title.
Yeah.
And it's like, all right, we're full steam ahead. He's gonna go until he can't go. And then you just took the belt off of him the first time that you knew like the majority of the world wasn't watching. And you're just like, oh, so that's what's happening here. And so, since then, it's just been a de-escalation of when it's time to put him in a prime spot. I expect he's gonna have this weird blow off with House of Torture at Dominion, where he finally like goes over because it's gonna be broadcast on TV. So,
Right.
And then we'll go into the G1 and perfectly average, carried by people who are much better than him for the majority, if he's in it at all. But I think he should, right?
I think he's in it. I'll be really surprised if he's not. It'll be a big tell if he's not in the G1.
Right. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah. So like, I think he'll be in the G1. I think ultimately they're just trying to get this House of Torture story to Dominion because it will create this end cap of Wrestle Kingdom and Dominion, where it's sort of the same story, but it's different. And
he's going through his hazing or whatever, and he overcomes it, that kind of. And it's just like, this isn't what people wanted out of this, but I get that this is what they felt like they had to do.
Yeah, but I mean, everyone always wants the Okada shock. Everyone always wants the 2012, big bet on one guy. It's just not what pro wrestling companies, I don't even want to just say New Japan, it's just not what they do anymore.
It is a once in a generation thing that you can do, not a once in every 5 years or even like recent memory. So, another promotion, you can kind of see like WWE running it back, doing the Brock Lesnar formula with Obafemi right now. But Brock Lesnar was 21, 22, 23 years ago. Like, you remember like this come up of him, but now they're mirroring it with another guy who's presumably going to beat his ass at WrestleMania. But it's just that whole thing. It's like, you cannot do that in the in-between because it diminishes it when you want to do it and it needs to matter. So I think it's correct that Aaron Wolf is not given that booking because he is not emoting enough. He is not connecting with the audience enough. He is not progressing enough with his training for that to pay off in any satisfying way, because he still needs to, if that's the case, he'll need to go 20, 25, 30 minutes with some of the top talent in the promotion, and he quite simply cannot do that.
Yeah, that. I mean, just all of that. I think ultimately what people would prefer is if he was in there with Taichi, Nagata, Ishii, Oleg.
When
even
you do
like
the Oleg
Goto,
Bolton, Aaron Wolf match, that is going to be a big deal.
Right. Oh, you need it to be, right?
Yes.
You need it to be, because that's a cool thing, right? And I think people would actually rather see him grow in a quote unquote young lion way, but like a main unit young lion, right? I think people want that more than they want, constant House of Torture, shenanigans, angles disguised as matches. I think people want more of just pure matches more than anything. And they're just not going to do it. They're not going to just turn around and say like, okay, well, now he's just doing singles matches with Goto and Hartley Jackson and Zack Sabre Jr. And, I mean, like that's not what they're doing. That's what they did to some extent with Oleg, but mostly with the actual young lions of that generation. But, I mean, I didn't want to see Aaron Wolf versus Shingo Takagi.
I didn't either.
I didn't want that.
I thought it was going to diminish Shingo Takagi. Like, Shingo Takagi would have to wrestle a worse match than he normally does just to accommodate Aaron Wolf. And it was
going to have to do that
matchup.
He's going to have to do that with Don Foley, but at least we know.
Yes,
like,
at least Don
we have
Foley
no expectations of that.
Right. Don Foley, you know what that match is going to be, and your expectations have already cratered. You're not supposed to have your Aaron Wolf expectations crater.
Right.
That's the whole thing. Like, that's what protecting the guy is.
Well, on that, I will say my
done it for
expectations of Aaron Wolf have cratered. Because I do feel like if they had more confidence in him, he would get more chances to do stuff, even in the House of Torture matches.
It never
So
cratered for me because I never had high expectations in the first place. It was more like, okay, this is an experiment. We'll see what happens. And it's just the experiment that keeps going. And I'm not necessarily sure that the experiment is going to be over anytime soon, or if we can determine that it's failed. But the criticism of, okay, this is taking a little longer and not going as well as anyone had really hoped is absolutely valid.
Mm-hmm. Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely. That's a valid opinion. It's true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it does not mean that he does not get to the destination eventually. But I think that there is a window for New Japan to absolutely maximize this, and that window is closing.
I mean, I think it might already be closed. I mean, look at the attendance at Cork in the last 2 days. It's the same. And he's on one show, and he was unannounced for the other show, right? And the attendance was within 55 tickets, something like that. So that's meaningless, a meaningless change in ticket sales. Great. I nailed it. Very close.
Stuck the landing, buddy.
So that's basically the same, especially when you account for like the first night of the New Japan Cup. People get excited about night one, et cetera, et cetera. Those numbers are very similar. So, you know, there's this phrase that we use in my house, my world, my career, my life. If they wanted to, they would, right? If people wanted to see Aaron Wolf wrestle, they would. They would go and see Aaron Wolf wrestle. And I heard a lot of this yesterday where people were like, I can't believe they knocked him out of the tournament. People want to see Aaron Wolf wrestle. Well, they didn't, though. They didn't want to see Aaron Wolf wrestle. They just didn't. If they wanted to, they would. If they wanted to see him wrestle, it was Korakuen Hall. It's the easiest venue to get to. It's the most common venue anyone in Japan runs. It's where pro wrestling fans go if they want to see someone wrestle. And they didn't. They just, the same amount of people wanted to see Taichi versus Ren Narita as wanted to see Aaron Wolf versus Don Fale. That's, if they wanted to, they would. And they didn't want to, and they didn't. And they didn't. And maybe some of that's because of who he was in there with or whatever, but I would want to see, if I was an Aaron Wolf fan, I would want to see Aaron Wolf lift up Don Fale in the middle of Korakuen Hall. But I mean, either New Japan has completely failed the launch, right? And you can course correct. And New Japan has done that before. We're seeing it with Shota Umino, right? You can course correct on a failed launch. If they've failed the launch or they've recognized what they have. And the comparison that I've heard is Mercedes Moné in Japan. She didn't sell the tickets that New Japan wanted her or thought she would sell, but she still ended up being a really valuable member of their roster
program when she was there.
Yeah, right. So like, but it didn't launch easy, right? They sort of missed the launch on that, and they course corrected, and eventually she became a valuable member of the program, right? And very important to what they were trying to do with the IWGP Women's and a little bit of Stardom, etc. So, but it's sort of the same thing. This sort of bigger names coming in and being floated on top of what the people who have been in the weeds of New Japan for a very long time, the wrestlers that have been in the weeds of New Japan for a very long time, the ones that have chosen to stay, because everyone has to choose to stay. And Aaron Wolf is sort of floating on top of that, but sequestered with House of Torture. And to some extent, I think that works. But people, especially people over here, they're not going to like it. And they're definitely not going to like it when when you have to wait 6 more months for his second comeuppance. And I think the discourse would be a lot different if he had lost at Wrestle Kingdom. and then just like couldn't get over the hump of beating someone on House of Torture. Like if that was the whole story, but the win at Wrestle Kingdom and then the subsequent loss to Narita and then loss to Fale, that's sort of a strange pattern that I think like you raised people's expectations and then now you're really slamming them down, which is that's a tough place to be. So I don't
athlete slumping does not seem to be a compelling storyline for the
after a hot start,
right?
Right, like after a hot. I mean, that Evil match was great.
It is indicative of like all baseball players like starting out hitting a couple of homers and then like the rest of the league catching up to him, kind of thing. But it doesn't work that way in wrestling.
It's March 5th. Every baseball player on the planet's in the best shape of their life right now. That's where we're at.
Injured beyond belief and or make opening day.
Yes. There's that section of the player union too. So, but yeah, well, Chris, I think that's all I've got on Aaron Wolf. Sorry.
I told you before we got started, like I really am ambivalent on the Aaron Wolf discourse. I could take it or leave it. Like he's a guy on the roster, and to me, he's not the one that they should be building around and not the one that they're currently building around. And I treat him with as much as important as I think I need to without getting upset, because I cannot get upset about Aaron Wolf. He doesn't get upset about me.
Have you ever seen the movie A Bronx Tale?
A long time ago.
It's a De Niro movie.
Yes.
It's fantastic. It's one of my favorite movies. I have a quote from it tattooed on me. It's not this quote, but Cologino, the kid in the movie, is in the room with the mafia guy. I forget his name, Sonny. And Sonny goes, like the kid's upset about the Yankees because the Yankees lost. And Sonny, the mobster, goes, Mickey Mantle don't care if you can pay your bills. Mickey Mantle doesn't care about you. It's like my favorite thing to like point to when people get all upset about someone else's decision that has no effect on them. It's also my favorite thing to point out when people start talking about certain politicians, but I say he doesn't care about you. But yeah, I mean, like he don't care. He doesn't care about you. You can't get upset about you.
He's getting paid. He's got his boss. He's got to please.
And you know what? He's probably trying. I don't know. Maybe he's not. I hope he is. I think he is. I hear that he is.
He's still an ambassador. He's still going out there doing a bunch of press stuff, representing the company. It's what they want. It's fine.
But he's no, I mean, the comparisons to Bad Bunny, Logan Paul, right? Like celebrities that have come into American wrestling. I think
he's not even that guy that was with Yuya and Shota at Wrestle Kingdom, like from Rampage.
Yeah. Well, he's training.
But that's what I'm saying. It's like Aaron Wolf's not even that guy. That guy's better than Aaron Wolf.
Well, yeah, and like
that's a closer analogy to Bad Bunny, though. You know what I mean? Like
yes.
That's the celebrity / like pivoting into pro wrestling, but actually making like a legitimate effort, not the. Well, I saw him at DDT. Like
that's what I mean.
Like he had a great match.
Those comparisons are fair to want that level of both investment and talent. I mean, like just like raw talent, but it's I don't know that he's had a chance to show it, and also like I don't know that he has taken the initiative to create the chance to show that.
He's not Kurt Angle, he's not Brock Lesnar, he's not Frank Shamrock, he's not these guys that pivoted into pro wrestling from a mixed martial arts background of some type. And so that's what the real expectation here is. And it goes to show what a real freak of nature all of those guys are, rather than the expectation that this universal training for people coming in from another sport yields the exact same results every time.
Yeah, and I have to ask whether maybe New Japan's just not the right environment for someone of that history. Right? Because the booking is so varied. right? It's so varied where you land and how, and the styles are so varied. It's not, distilled down to one distinct style, like something like WWE, where you're like, I can do that. I can do what those guys are doing. And it's exactly that. Like, there's a lot of flexibility in New Japan, the styles of matches that you are allowed to have, or that you go out there and have. Oftentimes all these guys get is the finish, right? That's all they get. They say 15 minutes finish like this. And it's like, okay. And then like, they've got to call it in the ring, brother. I mean, and like, that's a lot harder than, it's a lot harder in New Japan when you've got a bunch of different types of opponents, and a bunch of different languages that people are speaking that you have to work out. So, all that to say, like, it's different, but I can totally understand why people would want to make those comparisons and would want that level of, push and excitement around a guy that, we were told is going to be important. So
it amused me because basically this small talk that we're going to have got like 15 or 20 minutes before we roll into Fantasticamania, which we're going to do in just 1 second. And we're going to get to everything, guys, I promise. But this is actually a really good conversation. But
it's the hot topic of the day.
It really is. Garrett, fearless leader at Fight Game Media, likes us to do clips. And in the middle of this conversation, I laughed to myself because I was like, maybe we do an Aaron Wolf segment. And I go, is it time for Aaron Wolf pack it up?
Hey.
And I was really happy with my own little pun. And then I realized I just need to share it and then never do that clip, because that is, in fact, a terrible, terrible pun. And terrible puns do not get clips on YouTube. They just make me happy.
Cut to Kevin Nash.
All right. So you did not watch Fantasticamania. I did. It basically was a popcorn show, which, I mean, you grab your bucket of popcorn, you sit down, and you enjoy some wrestling for the 55 minutes of in-ring time that these shows usually have. We had 1,499 people here at this show, Chris. We had, I believe, 7 matches, including the first one, which would have been the last time that you would have get to see Sho Mikado before his suitcase was by the door at Korakuen, along with the rest of the CMLO guys, to jump on a plane. Averno, the new junior heavyweight champion, beat him with an arm bar in 10 minutes and 27 seconds. Perfectly fine. The next match was an 8-man tag. It had Tatsuya Matsumoto, Masatori Yasuda, Master Wato, and Stigma versus Yoshinobu Kanemaru, Sho, Yujiro Takahashi, and Hijo de Stuka Jr. Ending of that match was, oh God, where is it here? It was the House of Torture getting one over on Masatori Yasuda, which they were going to build up Master Wada, but they hadn't quite done that yet. The next one was Tiger Mask and Magnus. I don't know if you were following this at all, but Magnus basically did the Black Tiger gimmick for the
majority I did know that.
Tour. And so this was the last Black Tiger Mask match at Korakuen Hall for this Tiger Mask before he retires in June. Wasn't much of a match, went about 8 minutes. Afterwards, Magnus showed him a whole lot of respect, kind of wrapped the bow on this little last bit of Tiger Mask love for this iteration before he retires. And then after that, we had a Relevos Incredible 6-man tag. It was Atlantis Jr. and Taguchi defeating Cozy Max, which was Okamura and Satoshi Kojima, along with Hechicero. 10 minutes, totally fine. Your life will not change if you miss this match. Your life might change if you watch it. I don't know. It's going to be a you thing. After that, we had another 6-man tag. It was Las Viajeros de Espacia, which is Futuro and Valiente Jr. and Mascara Dorada, great team, defeating Hatsuratsu Guerrero and Unbound Company. Hatsuratsu Guerrero was Shingo Takagi in a mask, if you didn't know. I know.
A distant relative, maybe?
I laughed that he gave himself the Guerrero last name, but I fell for it last week when I think it was the Thursday show or the Wednesday show with Marlo Jr., which was Yota Tsuji, and Bone Soldier, which is Ishimori. They announced that Shingo Takagi has a family emergency and has to miss the show. And I'm like, oh, that sucks. He just got married. I hope everything's okay. And then Guerrero came out, and I felt so dumb. I was like, they literally did this to me a few days ago, and I fell for it.
I do love I love the Fantasticamania bits of like, I'm not that guy.
Yeah, that's not me.
It's very fun, actually.
And it's the same guy do it all the time. So it's all the LIJ legacy guys. So that's fun there. After that, we had Templario defeating Ultimo Guerrero in 13 and a half minutes. Really good match. One of those singles matches that they kind of throw at the end of the tour to send people home happy. And then the creme de la creme match at the end of it was Mistico with Tiger Mask at his side. Defeated Soberano Jr. with the La Mystica. 25 minutes, 40 seconds. Send everyone home happy. Soberano showed the respect, even though he turned full heel. He wore this like outfit that was all black, but it all like kind of spiky with a puffy, like spiky jacket. Like kind of Hellraiser-ish, but not quite, but dressed in all black. Really good vibes. And Fantasticamania, you could wrap a bow in it with the 1,500 attendance before the New Japan Cup, which cratered about 500 people per show just a week later. So that can tell you what the interest level is on the Lucha Libre versus what the normal product is. It goes back to your point about if people wanted to come see Aaron Wolf, they would have come see Aaron Wolf because they came out to see Mystico and they came out to see a couple of these other guys.
Mm-hmm. Fantasticamania always draws, though. I mean, like people love that tour.
It's a super fun show, my man. Like
it's cool. Yeah,
it's the Super J-Cast will take their like sabbatical during World Tag League because most of the matches for Wrestle Kingdom are announced, and basically you're putting the final toppings on the Sunday that is Wrestle Kingdom by the time World Tag League. And there's a lot of the same energy to Fantasticamania.
Yeah.
You can take your break. You don't need to watch it. If you need to spend like the last 2 weeks of February to kind of check out to New Japan, they're giving you an invite. They're just saying like, hey, go. This is for the people at home. They don't have U.S. commentary right away. Like this is de-emphasized as much as possible. Basically, enjoy your Lucha Libre. And if you don't, we'll see you in a couple of days. That's what Fantasticamania is. And some people get the message. Some people do not. Jordan mentioned, gotta say that jacket is sweet, really authentic. Jordan, you don't want to know why it's authentic? Well, it's authentic because it is authentic. I got this at the Tokon shop in Sudabashi Station near the Tokyo Dome, and got it for a great price because
the yen is down.
It ended up being like $100 versus like $175 that you got to buy it on the thing. Awesome. And I'm like, yeah, I really got to do this, don't I? And so Chris actually thought about wearing the jacket as well, but thought that I would wear the jacket.
I knew.
He didn't want to match me. And my heart is a little broken by this.
Well, you know, obviously, I'm going to just humble brag. Now, I could have picked one of my other 6.
This is what I was actually hoping you would.
Track suits, but I went with, I mean, this sweater's cool. It's a good hoodie. Man. Also from Japan. Also
from the 2026 model?
I think so, yeah. Yeah, it's my newest. So, yeah, I usually, you know, I get a package in the mail every year.
We were laughing beforehand
tracksuit fairy.
You needed to be on Yo MTV Cribs and showing people the closet where you show your line of tracksuits and
I did a
edition merch.
You can go back to January 3rd. It was the day before Wrestle Kingdom. And, you know, the trick with Twitter is that if you want a certain day to get a lot of views or a certain set of content to get a lot of views, you got to do some stuff before that, right? So, but I didn't have any content ready, and I wanted people to see my Wrestle Kingdom work. So I did a ranking of my tracksuits, and it's on Twitter, and I think it's really funny.
I do remember that now. I actually do remember that.
I think everyone should go find it.
Didn't you give the Tanahashi one like a high ranking?
Yeah, well, Joel from JCast like replied to my thread and was like, thoughts on the Tanahashi one, and I was like, I gave a little spiel ranking it as an honorable mention, but I don't have that one. So but yeah, I ranked the 7 that I have. With this year's is tremendous. It's my number 2 pick. My number 1's that 2021 that's just navy and white, and it's just classy, but I love this one with the pockets, with the zippers. The zipper pockets do a lot of work for me.
Oh
Yeah, right?
that zipper pocket's nice.
Yep.
Ooh,
It's a feature, not a bug. My daughter, I think I mentioned she's almost 2, but we do like baby yoga. We do yoga together, she and I. I always wear the current tracksuit because I need somewhere to put like my phone in my wallet that has a zipper, because I'm like rolling around on the ground doing fake.
Yes.
I mean, I'm not very good at yoga. She's actually probably better than I am. But I need somewhere to put my phone so it won't fall out. But I need something that's still pretty flexible. So I wear the jacket with the zipper pockets, and it's tremendous. And now you're never going to forget that your pockets on that tracksuit have zippers.
I am a strong believer of zippers on my pockets because things fall out of my pockets all the time.
Yeah, all the time.
Fan. Yeah.
All the time.
Cargo shorts, you got to have zippers on those cargo shorts.
As soon as I noticed it, I was like, those zippers are going to do a lot of work. It's great. Yeah. It's a great feature. Every year has a little feature that I enjoy. Some of them have like cuffed pants. Some of them have like drawstring ankles. Like there's just little things. They actually do a lot of cool design stuff with those New Japan tracksuits. They're worth the investment, and it's not that hard to get stuff shipped from Japan. That's all I'm gonna say.
Get yourself one in your lifetime, everybody. Just you don't like Chris has got like 20, and that's awesome.
I've got a guy, I've got a guy.
You just need one. All right, we got the New Beginnings in the USA show to talk about here. This was actually a really fun show, and I thought that every single match on there, where probably going to win match of the, but they all were good, and they all added to a card that by the end of it really came together. I thought was a strong domestic showing. Wasn't quite a strong show, wasn't quite a New Japan show, but it was something in between that just felt like it was a good representation of what it can be in America.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, the same thing I say about all these shows. I wish they looked and felt better when I'm watching them on TV, but the crowd seemed into it, and the wrestling was good, and that's a great place to start. I mean, that's all you can ask for, and it pretty much everything that happened was meaningful to actual New Japan. It's not this like secondary thing, which is good. I appreciate that. I prefer, one lane here.
In what I call the Hiromu special, Finley faced off against Fred Rosser, who has made his return into a New Japan ring after at least a year after being leaving as a trainer at the LA dojo. He came back and did the job for David Finley, who went out with a win on his way out, grabbed a microphone, proceeded to not say anything at all, and then raised the gung with the Knockout Brothers at the ring. Totally fine. They brought in a guy that David Finley could beat and would have no consequence whatsoever, and I was okay with it.
Yeah, and I don't think they knew what was going on with Finley just yet. I think that all came together pretty quick, but as we know, right, he's done. He's as far as anyone knows, this is not a dual contract situation. Like, he showed up in AEW, he's in AEW, he's not New Japan contracted, but he left on really good terms, is my understanding. So, obviously never say never and don't rule anything out, but is nice to see him pop up for one last show in America. But yeah, he's the David Finley era of New Japan is over.
There were a lot of things that would lead you to believe that when he was in Japan at that New Beginning show in Osaka, he was saying goodbye, and there's been nothing since then that made me think that he was going to be stepping in a ring at Korakuen or anywhere else in Japan anytime soon. No,
but Finley has always played things very close to the chest, say very little. But we all heard the whispers, right? He was trying to get to the US. He's about my age. He's got a child that's almost the exact same age as mine. He wants to be home, and that makes sense to me.
You want to hear a small random bit of trivia?
Of course.
David Finley, if he does a match in AEW next week at the San Jose Civic, it will have been the same venue that he revealed himself as the new leader of the Bullet Club and supplanted Jay White, and did the entrance video filming of his walking down the stairs in that venue. So if that ends up being the case, that just makes San Jose Civic kind of an important part of David Finley's
interesting
career in multiple ways.
That's
it's not for sure that he has a match next week, but I would think that he would, given all the, you know what I mean?
I would at least think he's going to appear.
Right. But yeah, the San Jose Civic has been a very important part of David Finley's career. And it just, the way that kind of lines up sometimes is always kind of funny to me.
Yeah. I like that. Yeah, that's good.
All right. You know what else was good was this match between Tomohiro Ishii and Boltin Oleg for the New Japan Strong Openweight Championship. This title has been kind of missing in action ever since Tomohiro Ishii beat Gabe Kidd for it. And Tomohiro Ishii has kind of been out of action here and there with various injuries. I think he's existing with a perpetual broken nose at this point. A broken quadricep that seems to be repaired with duct tape, and various other neck injuries now at this point because he is no longer able to go in the New Japan Cup. But boy, did he give a performance before his body was no longer able to go. And so did Boltin Oleg. And these two powerhouses beat the crap out of each other until Tomohiro Ishii gave Boltin Oleg the honors, patted him on the back and said, "It's your time to be the stallion here, buddy." And just kind of sent him along with the title. Fantastic match. Boltin Oleg has come so far. And if we were talking previously about the comparisons with Aaron Wolf, he is what hopefully Aaron Wolf ends up turning into and progressing, because Oleg Boltin has committed fully to this training over the last few years. And now it appears that the company is really committed to him as a single star.
Yeah, this rocked. And what a great move from whoever decided to just put this on first. Right. And just establish the energy for the show. And what a move from these guys to go out there and take that opportunity. And Ishii looked hurt on Dynamite a couple weeks ago. People were freaking out about that. And then he showed up for this match and did what he does. But part of me just thinks he was probably just hurt the whole time, because he's just so good. He's so good and he's so tough. He'll work through everything. And then, when he sees an opportunity to be like, I need to step away for a minute. But he's never gone for as long as you think he's going to be. This dude is, he is the Stone Pitbull. Stone is the key word there, man. This man is made of rock. And
we talk about healing factors in comic books and movies. Yeah. I think this dude actually has a healing factor.
Yeah. Yeah. Or he doesn't feel anything anymore. I don't know what the story is, but he'll pop back up before you think he will. Whether it's in the US or in Japan, he's going to pop back up. He's going to do something awesome. But Oleg took the reins, man. It was good. It was just good. It felt good to see these two dudes just go out there and do, a classic never open weight style match, strong open weight style match, I guess you can call it.
He looked like he needed help in the ring.
Huh?
You know what I mean? He did not need to be guided at all.
No.
He was in there, confident, poised, knew the moves, could read the audience. It was that match started and they were cheering for Ishii. The match ended and they were cheering for Oleg.
Yeah. And that they were cheering for Oleg, but the respect for Ishii hasn't changed. If anything, it has grown, right? Ishii has become, I hate to say it, but Ishii and Taichi are the guys that can get anyone over that they're in the ring with. Yes. And they're both so good at both being super credible in a loss and knowing how to bring out the fire from the person that's across from them in a way that the crowd will respond to. They are masters of it. And Ishii especially, and when they were tagging, oh my God, that's the reason the tag team division is what it is right now, is those guys. Mm-hmm. Those, and Ishii's a huge part of that. And obviously he's a legend, Hall of Famer in the Hall of Fame that matters, everyone's gonna say, if there was just a card of wrestling that's just like this, I would love it, but it's true. I don't know that I need other styles of wrestling. These guys, this was amazing. I loved it.
Yeah, there were very few finishes that were like, oh my God, I hate this. Like, I paid $50 for this pay-per-view. This is the crap finish that I'm getting that is supposedly clean. And then you watch a show like this where it's just like the most controversial finish was a draw, and they're like, no, fuck that. Let's actually have a finish.
We'll get to that. I have feelings about
like,
that.
I don't love it, but if that's the worst hijinks that we're gonna have in terms of like a finish on a show, I'm gonna take that every day of the week. And
That's
so
fair.
I'm happy that Oleg Boltin has a place at the table, and I'm glad that he has become that dude in the eyes of people that didn't know he was that dude before.
I want him desperately, and I know we will talk through some New Japan Cup stuff. I desperately want him to beat Narita, and I want them to unify the openweight titles. Like, and I want Oleg to be the winner. I don't think that's what's going to happen, but I see a path for it, and I
see a collision course with those. With those two, 100%. I don't know if that's your dream is coming true there, but
I don't know if they're ever gonna. No one remembers where the strong tag titles are.
They're at CMLL.
I know where they are, but
the two dudes in CMLL have. I don't remember who, but
I know
the last I remember, Royce Isaacs and Jorel Nelson wrestled and lost, challenging for those titles. That's the last I remember.
I see there's a comment in the chat that says Oleg Boltin. I don't know which name is first. Now I have no idea.
Oleg Boltin is the Western version of saying his name. In Japan, because they do the last name first, they call him Boltin Oleg. Both are fine. It doesn't matter. I respond to both, and I don't care. And you shouldn't either.
I think if he's on that G1 show in Chicago, there has to be dueling chants.
Yes.
In the US, right? In the US, in Chicago, if he's on that show, it's got to be Boltin, Oleg, Boltin. It would be so funny. I'm going to make it happen. I think
people would be like, what's happening? Like, dueling name champs.
Yeah, I mean,
Brian
like, it's
and Dave on either side.
Well, Brian just can't understand anything that's not fed to him with a spoon. So, and you can clip that and put it on the internet. I don't care. But I mean, I would laugh so hard.
Ricochet and Taiji.
Hello. I'm trying to get you clicks, brother. Let's go.
Not taking the bait on that one. Ricochet defeated Taiji Shimori for the AEW National Championship. The National Championship is that new title that was introduced just so Ricochet could go around and wrestle people everywhere without having to spoil another title. This was interesting because I don't remember the last time I really saw Taiji Ishimori as like pure babyface challenging for a title, and it was a breath of fresh air. He is so dynamic as a babyface with some of those aerodynamic moves that he's doing, getting the crowd reaction, getting that like fanfare. Meanwhile, you have Ricochet just as good, matching him move for move and getting frustrated that he can't put him down. Everything that you wanted this match to be. It would have been great in the Best of the Super Juniors if it fits right into that that sphere of Super Junior matches. I'm probably sure they had one maybe 10 years ago. I wouldn't be surprised if they did, but I can't remember for sure. But I'm just thinking about like last year, these two guys are at the Tokyo Dome. They're like, hey, we should have a match together sometime. I was like, yeah, we should. And then they finally did.
I mean, there's a period of my life where Ishimori was like my favorite wrestler. I mean, the dude is so good. Yes. And I as with everyone in New Japan, eventually they join Bullet Club and extend their career. And it's sort of a shame, but Ishimori sort of supersedes that. He's still so good. And obviously, like, Ricochet is one of the best in the world, and he's really come into his own again. In AEW, and he's tremendous. So, but they clearly have a lot of respect for each other. Like I saw it, right? You could see it in the match where like they're both giving pretty much max effort. And even for, whatever I guess it was probably about 15 minutes, 14 minutes. Like they gave what they could give in that time. And I think they put on a hell of a show. And whenever Ishimori does this, though, I just want more of this version of him. And maybe now that he's with the Unbound Co. situation, which is more babyface than it is heel, like maybe we will see that. I guess I'm a little more curious now to see what his Best of Super Junior is going to end up looking like.
I had a hierarchy that I talked with Steven maybe a few months ago maybe a month ago when we're talking about Hiromu leaving, and it felt like the hierarchy was number 1 through 4 somewhere between Fujita, Desperado, Adoki, and Akira. So Hiromu at the best would be 5 in that hierarchy. Now I think Ishimori is probably that number 5.
Yeah.
Where it's like there's other people there, but he's on that outside looking in of the people that they're really going to build around as the core. But he's still going to be a guy that's going to have great matches and do all these things. But he's just kind of he's been de-emphasized because you can see the directions that they're taking with these other guys at this point. And the only other thing with Taiji Ishimori, watching him wrestle like a face, he kind of reminded me of AJ Styles. And I don't know if that's like fair, but he would use like the fist and the submission move and the high flying in a lot of the same ways that AJ Styles would wrestle that way in some of his matches. And I thought that's kind of interesting. I never really thought that those two would be similar in that kind of approach, but they really did wrestle similarly when they were baby faces. So
Ishimori is a guy that they could put the junior title on as a transition between two similar wrestlers or something, or two guys in the same unit. Like he's a guy that will always be credible in that space. And I think that that's super valuable.
Yeah. I would love for them to build around him for like a 6 to 9 month run. I'm just not sure that they will, but I'd love to see it.
But I also think he could be the guy that walks out, challenges, wins a match miscellaneously, and then
like right after Doki beats Watto tomorrow, he's the guy that challenges for the title. 100%.
Oh, Doki beats Watto. Oh, you don't think it's my boy Watto?
I hope it is. It feels like such a nothing show and a nothing match.
It's weird. I don't want to go too deep on it, but like I'm looking at this card, and I was talking to Joel from JCast earlier today. I was like, Joel, what's main eventing the anniversary show? Like, what is happening? Like, why is this a weird card?
Just there.
Like, where's Yota Tsuji? Like,
if he just could be on the undercard in an 8-man tag,
yes, whatever. He is. But like, why is the anniversary show the junior showcase of this year's?
They can't get out of their own way with making the juniors their own separate shows all the time.
I know, and that's fine, but like, honestly, sort of sometimes I enjoy it because they get more time and da. But like, the anniversary show, like, there's so many. I don't know.
What anniversary are they really celebrating, and like what legacy are they? You know what I mean? Like all the old people are gone. Like they have a young champion. Yeah, it's a weird year. Like you're looking forward, so celebrating an anniversary show feels counterintuitive.
But last year, what did they do? They did was that the Goto Nagata match, or was it Goto?
No, it was the Goto Nagata match,
or was it Tanahashi?
No, I think Tanahashi was still in February.
Either way, they leveraged Goto.
Goto was the guy that they used. Gave him a couple of defenses, like one by one, like it was back to back, and they were just like, look. People were into it. Let's do it, and he could go. So they were there for it.
Yeah, I don't know.
All right, next matchup. This one didn't make a whole lot of sense to me until I realized that Jordan Oliver and Alec Price, who challenged Kushida and El Desperado, are going to be part of Desperado's Deathmatch Invitational in Vegas, and this was kind of a opportunity for people to see who they are. I think they have potential. I think one, if not both of them, in the best of the Super Juniors this year feels like it's a strong possibility, but they felt like this should have been the first match on the card, not the fourth match on the card.
Yeah, they probably placed it in honor of El Desperado being, that level of draw.
Yeah.
But otherwise,
it was fine. Like everybody was good, but it felt like two indie guys wrestling two of the best junior heavyweights in the world.
Two like literal legends. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's what it was. That's what I mean.
Yeah.
It felt like that because that's what it was.
But I don't mean it to be diminutive or demeaning. It just, when you see the talent up and down this card, this does stick out like a sore thumb. And it's good that you're giving young guys an opportunity. There were a lot of things they did right on this show, and making sure that you spotlighted new young talent that people have seen might not have been the priority to me.
Right. Yeah. I mean, it was a mechanism to announce that these two guys are going to be at Despy's show.
Yeah, absolutely. It was fine. If you are a fan of them, I thought they were originally from Britain, and Brad was able to correct me and tell me that they were in GCW and various promotions in the US, and that's where they got their start. Good for them. I am glad that they got this opportunity. I hope they make the best of this opportunity. They still have a lot of growing and experience that they need to get to the level that I am ready to watch them all the time. Here we go. We have a New Japan World Television Title Championship match between El Phantasmo and Konosuke Takeshita. And if anyone has been paying attention to these TV title matches, they have a 15-minute time limit draw, and usually that time limit draw is adhered to. Unfortunately, these two individuals have wrestled to a 15-minute draw in the past and decided El Phantasmo, when the 15-minute draw happened and he was so close to getting the pin, he, in dumb babyface fashion mode, invited Takeshita out for 5 more minutes, in which Takeshita demurred for a few, and then he came back out and then wrestled the way he should have wrestled for the first 15 minutes, but saving all his moves, proceeded to have an excellent 3-minute match in which he defeated El Phantasmo, and we have a new NJPW TV champion, so that Konosuke Takeshita can be on all of your free YouTube with all the free New Japan TV matches for everyone to see. I see the plan here. I don't have a problem with it.
Yeah. My first thought was he went from world title to TV title, and then you have the thought like, oh, they give those matches away. That's free. That's marketing, right? It's brilliant. Yeah. I hate the extension, right? I think time limits are time limits are time limits. But I might have a run in here in a second.
Yeah. I had a run in with my dog. I just patted him down.
I'm annoyed by that. I think they should have just had Takeshita win. But I like giving Takeshita a reason to still be around and to still be sort of a focus in New Japan. And I think that the free match, he will represent New Japan well. So I think it's good.
Appreciate that Takeshita is the new master of the time limit draw. It seems that all of his matches ended time limit draws, and now you have to have other matches because of those time limit draws. It seems like a crutch that you might not want to lean on forever. If I were booking Takeshita in multiple places. Not
if you're getting him into the big title scenes again. Those are 60 minutes. That's a long draw.
Gonna have to get your wind back there, buddy. Gonna have to get your wind back. All right, next one. This was a fun match. We had Oscar and Yuto Ice, the Knockout Brothers, versus Bishop Khan and Toa Leona, the Gates of Agony from AEW. This was a big boy match, Chris. We had the Gates of Agony were in the World Tag League, not last year, but the year before, and made quite a statement for themselves. Didn't do totally successfully, but grew a lot during that tournament. And I got to tell you, from watching what they did all the way back then and watching how they wrestled this match here now, they learned a ton and they've come a long way. And at some point, these are going to be a big star tag team. And when it comes to the Knockout Brothers, they don't miss. Like, these guys are a well-oiled machine. They work exceptionally well with each other. And because of that teamwork that they have, they're able to work really well with other teams as well. Like, the collaborative effort between these guys with Taichi and Ishii, Shota Umino and Yu Uemura, and now the Gates of Agony, like, they're the common denominator here. it's after a while you're wondering, well, maybe it's the other guys. Like, no, I don't think it's the other guys at this point. I think it's them. I think they're the real deal, and this match was a joy to watch.
Yeah, I think Knockout Brothers are really that sort of rare case of being able to literally talk people into buildings. I mean, I think they're really important to New Japan right now. And, with that, you get some crowd investment, right? In a tag team, which is something that we haven't seen in a little bit. Yeah, I see this comment. It says, just want to bring this up. I was at the show and the broadcast didn't capture how loud the crowd got at points. I've heard that from everyone I know who was at this show. And there's, half dozen people or so that are like, man, this crowd was hot. And I'm like,
they packed what, 2,500, 2,700 people in there?
Somewhere in that range, that general range. And
great.
Like, it's a good crowd. Pulling 2,000 people into Trenton, New Jersey is not an easy task. So, I mean, they did great. I can't say more about the production of the US shows than what I said on Keeping It Strong Style this week. So if you want my thoughts on that, I think my rant lives there. But yeah,
bring the TV Asahi crews over and bring their Japan crews over and just have them film.
I'm so curious what they're going to do for the Chicago G1 show. I'm a little nervous, but I might start asking questions because I know some folks in Chicago that can probably be helpful. So maybe I can get a friend a job. But anyway, yeah, I mean, Knockout Brothers are great. I really like Gates of Agony. Like, I really like this tag team, and I really hope that they continue to grow. I think that their role in AEW is very cool. I think they have all the potential in the world to have the energy of the War Raiders, right? Like that type of strong, silent type tag team. And I want to see it happen. So, and that they've done the work. Like I love a tag team, or I love a wrestler that has just like clearly done the work, and you've seen the growth trajectory, and finally they get the chance. And because there's so many wrestlers in the world, especially in major companies, especially the really big three companies, WWE, AEW, and New Japan, where like wherever you were slotted on day one is sort of where you live forever. And these guys are showing that if you continue to build yourself up, you can get a different slot without a big, gimmick change. So, it was cool. It was cool to see them pop up here and do a good job.
When I first saw them at the announcement at the show, I think might have been the New Beginning show that after their match where they popped up on the video. It was like, oh, really? And they're like, I'm not mad at that at all.
It's fine.
Yeah, I thought of all the tag teams in AEW, this is one of them I'd be cool. And they showed up, they hit hard, like they gave as good as they got. And I felt like they got to have the match that they wish that they could have on a big AEW pay-per-view. You know what I mean? Like this was their opportunity to do that 15-minute match that they don't get an opportunity to do because there's so many mouths to feed at some of these other shows. So good for them.
Yep.
We got Syuri versus Athena, and there were people that are arguing that this was the match of the night on this show. I didn't necessarily feel that way, but I did think it was very much exceptional. I think Athena, when she comes to the New Japan ring, is a fantastic addition. And I think Syuri, since she won the title, and actually since before she won the title, has proven her worth time and time again. And I thought that this match, with its back and forth, with its submission work, with the post-match play of challenging for Athena's Ring of Honor World Championship, it made the women's division feel just a little bit bigger than it did before the match started.
Yeah, I think in the ring it was great. My only drawback on this match is that I didn't see a vision for Athena to win, right? I didn't see like where that could even possibly go or why that would be the case. And some of that's just like overthinking the booking and sort of my thing. But I just I didn't see where that could go, but like the nuts and bolts of this match were great. And I bought into the finishes and the near falls. And that's sort of the trick, right? When you sort of know that it's very hard to get that seed of doubt planted on a title change, you have to work really hard to plant the seeds of doubt. And they did it. They definitely had the crowd. they had the crowd right where they wanted them. And yeah, Athena's cool when she pops up in New Japan. She's like, I mean, she has a reputation of being reckless already. But like, that's just sort of how wrestling happens in Japan. So it's okay. Like
slide right in, Athena.
It sort of works, right? Like, I don't know. It's you hate to call it reckless. I know that it's all.
Here, take a seat.
Actually,
You're among friends. Come on.
yeah, I mean, like, but she fits. She knows how to do it. It's clunky in the right ways in Japan, and sometimes it's clunky in the wrong ways in the US, if that makes sense. Because I think wrestlers like Syuri, like, they know how to recover when something goes a little wacky, or something doesn't hit just right. And I think that's why I like those matches. I like matches that look real. I know it's crazy, but like, if I wanted to watch dancing, I would watch dancing. Like, I like when things get a little goofy and they've got to be a little creative. I mean, like, that's the joy of the art of pro wrestling. So, yeah, it's good.
We have, after that, the main event, which was Yota Tsuji defending his IWGP Global Heavyweight Championship against Andrade El Idolo in, I believe, Andrade's first singles match? No, second singles match in New Japan, but his first New Japan in America match, because he wrestled Gabe Kidd for this wrestling opportunity. I like this match a lot. It was a proper main event match. The best compliment I can give it, Chris, is that this was actually an IWGP World Heavyweight title match. It was wrestled that way. It was wrestled like these were two main event guys wrestling for a main event title. And it wasn't for that title, but it very well could have been, given the level of main eventness that both guys conveyed within the match with the back and forth. Yota Tsuji has done really, really well, showing off like the Gene Blaster and the Boston Crab and all these moves he's really trying to get over since his big Wrestle Kingdom win, and trying to position himself as the guy. And Andrade, he has the charisma and the poise of being a main event challenger. Like, he has wrestled worldwide in such a way for the last 3 or 4 months since he's been allowed to by WWE after the contract issue. He's wrestled like he doesn't have any more chances left. And if he's going to make his name in the world, it's now or never. And he's going for the now. And he may not be winning the world titles, and he may not be being put in a position to be the front guy for all of these promotions. But I'll tell you what, he keeps wrestling like this, it won't be long before he's given even more opportunities to be the guy, because he's got it all. And between these two, it was one of the best main events that I think I've seen in recent memory. Clean finish, strong wrestling, long, engaging, all the things that I think are important to convey that a world title or even a world champion is important was conveyed by Yota Tsuji in this match. And again, it wasn't for the world title. It was for the global heavyweight title. But I cannot stress to you enough how much I felt like Yota Tsuji wrestles all of his matches as if like it's the most important match in the world.
Yeah, I agree with everything you said, except that I hated the finish.
You didn't like the Boston Crab?
I love Tsuji using the Boston Crab. I think that should be his finish for New Japan guys who came up in the dojo, or guys who came up in a Japanese dojo, right? It was appropriate with Takeshita too. I think that with a guy like Andrade tapping out to a Boston Crab, it just felt different. It felt forced. Like, I'm really trying to get this thing over. So can you help me, brother? Right? Like, I wanted that match to end with a Gene Blast and a pin. And I want him then to come back to Japan and wrestle someone with history in Japan, more history in Japan. Not that Andrade's got history everywhere in various ways. I want there to sort of be those two distinct lanes of what finish he uses. And that's just a vibes thing for me.
Sure.
I get that they're trying to establish the Boston Crab thing, and I love it. I think it's awesome. But I
The
just
symbol
don't,
that the New Japan way is best.
yeah, but it just didn't feel
Like the right place and the right time
it
to do
didn't
that.
feel like the right place for it. And it felt like if it was the right place, they didn't build to it. Tsuji didn't go for the Boston Crab that whole match. He wasn't like hunting for that Boston Crab. He just got it at the end, and then Andrade tapped out. And that's just, it just didn't quite land with me. Everything else landed with me.
I will say I see where you're coming from. And I will counter that perhaps because of the Andrade involvement, being at Wrestle Kingdom, being at the New Beginnings in Osaka, Yota Tsuji showing him respect after the match was over, that there was kind of, in Yota Tsuji's mind, he kind of saw Andrade as a New Japan guy and gave him that finish out of like the respect and the deference of like, you have seen that the New Japan way is the best way, and I'm going to show it to you. I'm not saying that's supposed to change your mind, but from like a philosophical kind of, he has made that clear that the IWGP World Heavyweight title is not going to be defended unless it's in the main event or if it's against the guy who's done their time in New Japan. And at this point, is it like they're just trying to put the power portrayed by Yota Tsuji when that's the directive going forward by the company? Probably. But it's good to have Yota Tsuji be the guy saying those things as the champion, and then being the flag bearer and being the leader, the locker room leader, the whole thing. It's like, yeah, you get respect. You were the one that came in here and like did it the New Japan way, and we're here. And that might have been a little bit more kayfabe, breaking kayfabe, all that. Because even Andrade was like, yeah, okay, thanks. You know what I mean? Like, he's walking away to the back, and he's like, all right. And then, you can knock me over with a feather. Yota Tsuji comes out and cuts a perfectly clear promo in English, thanking the crowd, talking about New Japan being the best, taking photos with everyone around the ring, giving the energy. And I'm like, oh, this guy could be the guy. And it made me so happy.
Okay. I mean, I did. Yeah. That's great.
All I need is somebody being positioned.
Yes.
As like someone that, I'm the one in the front. Like, I am the leader of this pack. And he may not be everyone's cup of tea, but if he stands into the role and fakes it till he makes it, it's better than never making it at all.
I agree. We've all been begging for them to just pick one, right? Just pick one. And they did. And they have. And Tsuji. Yeah, and I get it, and I like the like I said, I like the idea of the finish. I just didn't think this was the right place for it. I like when wrestlers use different finishes. Also, right? Like that's like just like a thing I know about myself. It's why I like Cody so much. He just like, especially in AEW,
you know what it is.
Like,
you know what you're
like doing random stuff, and sometimes the match ends, and I think that's good. Otherwise, this match was incredible. They were great. And Tsuji nailed the English promo at the end. I mean, like he had that was the most impressive piece to me about Tsuji. And I'm coming around on Tsuji. I think you probably know I'm not the biggest. Tsuji's not my guy from this
guy that has your heart. I know.
Yeah. Tsuji's not my guy, and that's okay. Doesn't mean I don't like him. He's going to
be the guy that gets your guy where he needs to be.
He has to be. That has to be the story.
That's
right?
His job this year.
That's his job.
Is to make being IWGP champion a goal to attain and an almost impossible one to reach. And when somebody finally does this year, or maybe at Wrestle Kingdom next year, it's going to be a moment because Yota Tsuji will have been the man for so long.
I hope that's
I hope too.
Yeah, I hope that's the case because I think it would work, right? I think it would make sense. And I want things to work. But the promo was great. I like that Tsuji's finally come around on working a show in the US, much less putting in a ton of effort in a show in the US. And I think the global world separation, or the global and heavyweight separation, it's no longer a world title, right? I like that idea. I have so many thoughts. I'm a little triggered by the fact that the Intercontinental and the Heavyweight never got re-separated. Like, where are we going with this? How do we get one of these belts off of Tsuji?
How do you reconcile all this and make it? Yeah, there's
the
a
thing
fraught with
is,
peril pathway halfway through this.
The easier thing to do for Tsuji, actually, because he's not defending them both at the same time, at least that's what it looks like. The easier thing to do is going to be actually to get the world title off of him, and then he can carry global further. Because then you're losing a higher stakes match, but you still hold on to one title. I don't know if that's the thing that they'll do, but also, like, I don't see, it's hard to find the off ramp for one of two titles when you're the same person. And you have to be protected because you're the highest champion. So that's my like macro thought about Tsuji's situation. But I do like that he's defending the title separately. I think that's cool.
I think he'll lose the global title on a pretty innocuous matchup somewhere through the run. Once it's been established that like this dude wins most of the time. So like a fluky loss somewhere between like May to July before the G1, where like you could focus on him being the IWGP champion and a guy chasing him as that champion without any of this other stuff. And once you get that global title off of him and you can put it on somebody else that potentially really could use an opportunity at a top level title like that, I have some ideas of who that might be, but I kind of have to see the New Japan Cup play out before we get to that. Which brings us to the New Japan Cup after we get through the rest of this Yota Tsuji thing. I think he's the guy. I think he's the guy to get us to the other two guys in Yota and Shota Umino and Yuya Uemura. That those are the three guys that they should be building a trifecta around. Yota Tsuji being the guy and those two guys chasing. Though that is the dynamic of the year. And so far, there's nothing that I've seen that makes me think that that's not the case.
Yeah, that does feel like the direction. There might be a third chaser in there.
Yeah.
He's in the top right quadrant of the brackets.
So we'll touch on it again real quick, but Aaron Wolf and Don Fale, there wasn't even perverse pleasure in being like a bad fun match to watch. This was just a depressing, like, bad match, bad finish, all the things that you don't like about House of Torture, all the things that make you frustrated about New Japan. It was all encompassed in this thing, and we spent about 30 minutes earlier this show unpacking it, and unless you have anything more, we can just move on to Yuya and Great Khan.
I cannot speak anymore about Aaron Wolf and Don Fale.
Fale la la la. Merry Christmas. We had Yuya Uemura and Great Khan. Started out slow, but ended up being a strong campaign for Yuya Uemura, showing resolve to get past Great Khan, who really tried to bully him into submission for the majority of this match. Pure babyface energy. As Stephen Conway would say, he gets frustrated with Yuya Uemura because he cuts the same promo after his matches, whether he wins or he loses. But I will say this, I thought he cut a different promo this time, where he even admitted he's not good at promos. But he said to bring the fire and move forward. So, Steven, if you're listening, I don't know if you're validated or not, but his promos, I tried to pay attention just for you. This was a good match. I think Yuya's going really, really far in this tournament. I'm not ready to say he's primed to win it, although from your Sport of Pro Wrestling data, it appears that a lot of people believe that Yuya Uemura's number is going to get called with this tournament.
And the Japanese poll. They both fans on both sides of the ocean picked Yuya Uemura to win this tournament. So, and I don't know if that's, trying to speak it into existence or the belief of what's actually going to happen, but he has the fan support. And I think people are ready for him to win a New Japan Cup. If that's where we're headed. I don't know that they would be ready for him to win like a G1, right? I think those are very, very different sentiments with fan base, but people are like, sure, give him elevate him to that level. Now I picked him to win on my official bracket. I did. I picked him to win. I would prefer to be wrong because I want him to go to the final and establish himself as a guy that is a credible threat, and then I want him to.
So then he goes and wins the G1.
Now
that you've seen him go.
So yes, because now you're thinking of him in that way. Because here's the other thing: I think Yota Tsuji is the guy to say, no, the G1 winner takes their title shot at Wrestle Kingdom. And he said, he's the guy that puts things back where they're supposed to go, right? We've got the title back where it's supposed to, we've got the belt that everyone likes back. We've got the lineage restored, et cetera, right? Like, he's this guy that's doing all this repair work on New Japan. And the last 2 years, the G1 winner has taken their title shot at Ryogoku in October instead of at the Dome.
Right.
Tsuji's going to be the guy if he's still the champion, and I think there's a really good chance that he will be. He's the guy that will say, I want the G1 winner at the Dome.
Yes.
Right. And it's one of those, like, it's another one of those New Japan fan moments where, like, nature's healing, right? Like,
where you got 4 months where you get to anticipate this face off that you've been waiting for.
But I think it only works if it's someone important to Tsuji's path and Tsuji's history. And the most important person in this company to Tsuji's path and Tsuji's history is Yuya Uemura. So, like, there's something there, and maybe everyone knows I'm a Yuya Uemura guy. I love his style. I think he's a unique wrestler when he gets a chance to be. He didn't get a chance to be much in this match because Great-O-Khan was in control for most of it. I have strong feelings about Great-O-Khan's performances of the last couple of years. I'm really out on Great-O-Khan.
Is he a library book where he's checked out?
I think he's a sandbag, and I think he's upset that there's guys passing him. And I'm projecting that. I don't know anything, but he wrestles that way. He wrestled
as if, like, his ceiling is what it is, and since he's not getting any further, that's what he's going to wrestle at.
Yeah,
like, it's a self-perpetuating prophecy.
Yeah, that's a great way to put it. So putting Yuya in there with him is not as exciting as his next match, which is against Drilla Maloney, which I think is going to rock. So, but yeah, I mean, like, that's my overall, like, vision. And like I said, like, I think I might have gotten caught up in the hullabaloo of all the people picking Yuya and being like, oh, I better get in on it. He's my boy. But I hope something different happens, and then the G1 is his big moment. But
so
I would take but because if he wins the cup, he's not winning the G1. That would be stunning. They really don't go that hard. They
don't back to back these guys.
Yeah.
So I'm with you. I kind of thought there'd be someone else winning the New Japan Cup, but you get so close that people are like, I wanted it so bad and I didn't get it, that when the G1 comes around, he becomes the de facto favorite.
Yeah.
In which, and if he loses that first night of the G1, like, people are making babies that night. You know what I mean? Like,
little heat storms.
Dude, like, oh, he lost the first night of the G1. It's happening.
It's going down. Yeah,
like,
against someone
so you have some better chance of getting into the finals, and you're like, it's true, like, in some ways that those baby faces, they like to give you that sense of, like, you got a hill to climb, and
of course
he
could lose the first 3.
He can lose the first 3, make the run, be the last guy in the block, and then just have the Cinderella run all the way to the finals.
It's magic.
It's like he's there, and in my mind, that's what you do. You have Shota Umino win the cup against Yuya Uemura.
Yeah.
And then you have him go and face off against Yota Tsuji. Theoretically, he loses, but there's something to this that ends up being Yota Tsuji and Shota Umino for the global title of Dominion. And that's how Shota Umino ends up with the global title, freeing Yota Tsuji, giving Shota Umino his first singles title, being consequential in some way, shape, or form. It's not the world title, but parallels of Naito with the Intercontinental title. and at the same time, you're building up that Yota Tsuji versus Yuya Uemura for the IWGP title that you've been priming. That's kind of how I've been visualizing how the year should work, because those are the three guys. And
you know how they get there. Time limit draw. Time limit draw. I mean, that's probably the way. That's probably the way. Because then Tsuji's like, no, you couldn't beat me in an hour. Why would you want to do whatever? And then they run it back, and he's like, fine, take a shot for the white belt, which is lesser than, and then Umino wins.
I think
I'm into that. I'm into that. I could watch. I mean, Shota, we know he can go long.
He was in the finals last New Japan Cup, and he lost to Finley. Like, he's getting closer. Like, there's all of these things
that's the other classic maneuver is you final one year and then you win the next year. It's
So I saw Shota was third place in your New Japan Cup pick. I was like, he was my guy from day one, and it's like it's gonna infuriate so many people when it happens, because they're like, really, Shota again? Oh, but
I think a lot of people have turned a corner just based on the tag run that he's been on. I think the Shota Umino hate had gone too far, and now it's back to where it belongs, and it's much less than that. And he's got new gear. New gear means something, right? He's always got new gear, though. This man changes his gear more than anyone. Yeah, he's so fancy.
All right, we're gonna skip over the undercard from today and just get to the two main cards here. We had Bolton Oleg Bolton versus El Phantasmo, and I was really looking forward to this match, and it delivered in exactly the way that I thought it was going to. I think El Phantasmo basically wrestled yet another TV title match the way that he wrestled this, but it was good. And Bolton Oleg is versatile, and he can wrestle many different styles with many different guys. They ended the match with a kamikaze off the top rope after a struggle, and one of the funny things about the camera work in this match is that at the beginning of the sequence, they were filming it with one angle, so it felt like it was the far side of the ring, and then for whatever reason, they went to the hard cam, and then you realized it was like the other corner of the ring.
I didn't catch that.
But you felt like it was like they'd moved across the ring, but the way that they filmed it, they were just in one corner for like 4 minutes, but it felt like they had moved to a different corner with the way that they had filmed it. Totally fun match. It felt, when I did the poll, when I did the pick'em, ELP was still TV champion. So it was like, which one is gonna do better? The never open weight 6-man title or the guy with the TV title? And then by the time that ended, it was one guy has the strong TV title, the other one doesn't have a TV title at all, and I still ended up picking Bolton Oleg because when it came down to it, I thought Bolton Oleg versus Ren Narita to get to the Final Four was probably a stronger match, and Bolton Oleg versus Hinare to get there seemed a lot more realistic than ELP versus Hinare.
Yeah, I agree with all that. This match is worth going out of your way for. It was incredible. It reminded me actually a lot of ELP's Takeshita G1 match in Korakuen. It just had the same like just raucous energy of just like going for everything. It was awesome. This match was great. Really got me going this morning.
It's the energy that you needed to ride on a high before you get your heart broken on the next match, which was Ren Narita versus Taichi. This entire match, the entire layout was the heartstrings getting pulled and wanting Taichi desperately to win this match, and he was never going to. It was a masterclass in manipulation of the audience. Taichi was fantastic as the babyface desperately trying to pull out this win. And I don't have much to say about Ren Narita other than he played his role as determined by the company that that's what his job was to do. He did fine with the submissions, but Taichi made this match in many ways with the struggles that he went through trying to overcome the House of Torture, to overcome Ren Narita, to overcome cheating. There was a sequence in which Kanemaru came out with the whiskey bottle, took off his shirt, convinced Taichi that he was actually on his side ever so briefly, then turned on
very
him
briefly,
so that Ren Narita could win.
Yeah.
They did everything in your power to get you to pray that Taichi was going to win this match.
Yeah.
And yet, he wasn't going to. It was a fine match, but it was not quite as good as the one before it.
I liked it a lot, though.
Yeah.
I liked this.
It was a melodrama match.
This is my version of, this is my acceptable, enjoyable version of a House of Torture match. Like, you gotta give me multiple waves, right? and Taichi just feels like a guy that could possibly just like power through and win. Obviously, I was pretty sure he wasn't going to, but he's the guy. He's the guy he's just so good at planting those seeds of doubt and building matches in a way that are, believably dramatic.
Yes.
And he nailed it. And Narita was Taichi drove the bus for this match.
That's what I'm trying to say. Yes.
You could absolutely tell he was the one who made all the decisions, and they were all acceptable. Like, he knows how to toe that line of being like, I can get this past whoever I need to tell what the structure of the match is going to be, and I can get my opponent to agree to it. But also, I'm still going to look pretty good. Like, he's really good at protecting himself in that way, because ain't no one in that locker room or office protecting Taichi. Like, he's the guy, he's got to take care of himself, and he's damn good at it. So if you want to see the optimal version of a current House of Torture match, this is it. The
model.
Yeah, like, this is the model that if they followed this more often, I would be less annoyed by House of Torture's presence on all these cards. So ultimately, Ren Narita wins. We all saw it coming. But I mean, what I will say is more people came out to help Taichi than came out to help Aaron Wolf. And, there's something there. There's something to that. He knew.
That is the weirdest,
it's
commentary,
weird.
Mention that I've heard in a while.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh yeah, you got a big head, and so no one wanted to come out and help him. I'm like, what?
It's like
is
that the right thing to say? Like,
or what? Where are we going with it? Because I feel like you're trying to mix in something that's happening in real life with something that
I don't.
You know what I mean? Like, that just sometimes they mention stuff, and it's just there's a little bit more truth to it, and you're like, what?
Yeah,
what's going on there?
And to me, the connection is more that Taichi has these long-term friends because he's been around for so long that he can ask people to be on his side, and they'll show up for him. Whereas Aaron Wolf hasn't built those relationships yet. Like, that to me is the lane to explain that away. But I did find it interesting that they were willing to even sort of book the match this way after booking the other match the other way, the Aaron Wolf match yesterday. So
I'm sure they had plenty of ideas with Tomohiro Ishii, but you can kind of pull off the same thing with Takeshi Kojima, given that they were a trios team ever. So
same idea. Yeah.
It'll totally be fine, but
Kojima's the right guy to plug in for Ishii without a doubt.
I had a question for you on your Sport of Pro Wrestling thing. Everyone got 14 points at this point.
You think it would be a 16?
Is that a glitch, or because the Satoshi Kojima is a late edition?
It's in relation to that. I have a plan that I cannot and will not share until I have a chance to execute it. But yes, it's in relation to some people picked Kojima to win the bye match, and some people picked Ishii to win the match against the bye. And I need to figure out how to eliminate that match. And my way of eliminating it right now is to just not assign a winner.
It's just 0 pointed and call it a perfect.
Yes.
And remove it completely. Because it is kind of inconsequential.
It is entirely inconsequential because everyone should get the same against a bye. I mean, unless you're really goofing around, you probably aren't picking the bye. Nobody picked the bye. I would know that.
That's good. That's good.
Yeah,
it is the litmus test of intelligence.
It is good. It is good. So yeah, so that is in relation to that. So don't expect those points to ever appear.
So if anyone's
I just have to figure out how to make it work on the back end.
Perfect score being 14, it's a feature, not a bug.
That's the correct perfect score.
Yes, I have a perfect score. You have a perfect score.
I have a perfect score. Yeah.
Do you think you're going to have a perfect score through the first round?
There are dozens of us.
There are simply 13% of us.
3 dozen, give or take. Do I think I'm confident?
Yeah.
I feel good about I'm looking at the brackets now.
I'll pull it up for you right now.
There you go. The only thing I'm not confident in, like almost certain with almost certainty, is Yuto Ice and Ryohei Oiwa. That's the only match left that I think I could see really going either way.
I think it's Yuto Ice, because I think the real money is getting Yuto Ice back with Zack Sabre Jr. And
I
they'll
agree.
save that Oiwa match eventually. The thing that I've always come back to when I looked at this, the way that this thing was laid out, was that you have 3 former IWGP champions, all strategically placed in different parts of this bracketing. You got Shingo and Yuya. You have Hiroki Goto, and I'm going to go Callum Newman. And you have Shota Umino and Zack Sabre Jr. All those guys are potentially gatekeepers to get to facing the current IWGP champion. So I'm leaning on Callum Newman and Shota Umino on one side, Yuya Uemura and Ren Narita on the other side. So you just have this whole youth movement coming in, and then you roll with Yuya and Shota at the very end, because it's not Callum Newman's time. You can't really do anything with him until once he gets past Will Ospreay anyways. So he's just kind of a laying in wait kind of character who's going to threaten, but I don't see him at that high level just yet. So you get Shota Umino and Yuya Uemura in the final. You get Shota winning and everyone being upset that it's not Yuya, and you get him ready for the G1. I felt like that was the best way to create tension in a tournament in which, we got 2 more days of the first round block tomorrow and Sunday. And then we're going straight on the 10th, the 12th, the 13th, and the 14th to get to the Final Four. And this thing is just going to be going quicker than you can believe.
Oh yeah, we start buzzing here soon. All of those world title, previous world title holder and next generation guy, we'll call them, they all have history too, right? Callum and Goto, they had the random match that was awesome last year.
Yeah. Shota and Zach at Wrestle
Shota
Kingdom.
and Zach, obviously, like huge history, and Shingo's beat Yuya Uemura 3 times, and that's like probably actually Uemura's most common
foe that he falls to.
I mean,
he's got a weak spot for Shingo.
Yeah, none of them have been like incredibly big spots, but it was, it was first round of the 2024 New Japan Cup, and it was a never open weight title shot at the end of 2024 in the US. So there's some connection there. It's loose. That one's the loosest of them all. But the only thing I don't agree with you on is that I think they might go with Bolt and Oleg to go in over Narita.
Instead of Ren? They could.
Yeah,
they really do. I'm leaning towards heel face when you get to the Final Four.
Sure.
So just like they still want that heel face matchup, and each one of those matchups still aligns heel face.
I'm probably just coping because I don't want Narita in that spot.
I think by the time Narita gets there, and he'll be such a troll and a goblin in the way that he's beaten everybody up to that point.
Yeah.
That if Yuya gets past him, it's just going to help make Yuya.
Yeah. People would really want that too. So I see the vision. The vision is more clear for that than going with Oleg, but I'm allowed to have
the heart walk with the heart walk.
The heart walks with the heart walk. And Oleg's been so good that maybe they'll pivot. He's just those last two matches.
He's so good. You might want to rename him Aaron Wolf.
Hey. Yikes.
We got some matches for tomorrow if we move on from that. We got Oscar and Callum Newman, 4th from the top on the anniversary show, I believe. They might be on the top.
Who knows? Who knows?
Right now, we got 2 cup matches. We got an IWGP Junior Tag and a Junior Heavyweight Championship, and I don't think there's any other. That's from the New Japan website. That's from 1972.
They'll announce it in 2.5 hours, I think. They usually do their announcements at 9 my time, 9 Central.
Super exciting. We got Oscar and Callum Newman. I got Callum Newman on this one. I got Jake Lee and Yoshihashi. Seeing it's the last singles match Jake Lee had, he lost. I kind of expect him to win the comeback match on that one. And then we got Robbie X and Taiji Shimori versus Robbie Eagles and Kosei Fujita. The battle of the Robbie. Oi, oi, oi. And then we have Doki versus Master Wato. I gave away the ghost earlier, in which I don't think this is Master Wato's time. But if it is,
it might be.
I will be very happy for him.
Yeah.
He's been working very hard over the last few years since he came back from his ACL tear, showing up for the shows, not being a guy in a place of the spotlight, but still showing up and doing the work anyways. Gotta respect a guy like that.
I want the junior title to get away from Doki and El Desperado just for a while. Like I want a different cycle of guys to get involved. I'm
kind of
just
in an abyss right now. Just kind of disappeared.
Yeah. And I don't care if they put it back on the main shows or whatever. Like they've still been doing this sort of sequestered junior world. But I was talking to someone earlier today and they said that, and I was like, yeah, that's it. Like that's the thing. Like just get it away from these guys for a little bit. They can come back to it. It's fine. Yep. But yeah, I would love it if Wato wins, but I'm not as invested in him as I was during Wato Mania season when he won Best of Super Juniors, which was incredible. But I still I just want to see some fresh.
That was a great time in my life watching that. I was in Vegas, I think, watching that when he watched that one. I was watching it with Meltzer. And we're
when they put Titan into the final, it was incredible.
We stayed spoiler free, and we made sure to watch it without getting spoiled. And so we made a promise to each other. So
it was
we watched
so great.
And we were
that was such a great season of junior heavyweight wrestling. I want that back.
On the same weekend as a Double or Nothing for AEW a couple of years ago. And
that sounds familiar. Yeah.
All right, we intended to go 90. We went almost 130 minutes. Chris, I thank you for being long-winded just as long as me so that all of our audience got everything that they needed out of us covering Fantasticamania, Aaron Wolf, New Japan, New Beginnings in America, the New Japan Cup, your website, The Sport of Pro Wrestling, in which you can do all of these contests, including the G1 in the future. And we'll talk later on about some type of prize again, because I had a lot of fun doing that with you last year, and make it so that there's some skin in the game for some of these people to prove that you're the smartest wrestling mind of all of us. But that is for then. For now, I want to call you the smartest wrestling mind of this show. Thank you for coming on and talking all your viewpoints and sharing the screen with me, because I needed somebody to bounce off to. I'm glad we got to catch up. Plug anything that I have failed to mention before we get out of here, my friend.
Find me in the Discords. I am at the Chris Samsa. If it's a Discord that talks about New Japan Pro Wrestling, I'm probably there. Except for their official one that you have to pay to get into, because I'm not into that. And sportofprowrestling.com. Anytime something's going on with New Japan, you can find what's going on there. So right now it's all about the New Japan Cup. And of course I'm on the social medias, but I'm sort of a post and ghost guy these days. So I'll pop up on post and ghost. You just post and you just move on with your day. It's perfect.
That's how I do the drop for the show on Twitter or X or whatever. That's the only time I ever post on X. It's like, oh, hey, show link, everybody. It's Thursday. Yeah. Here you go. And you never see me for another week.
And we got to go. Yeah. That's the way to do it. Find me at the Chris Samsa. That's where I am. But thank you for having me. Always a great time. I'm glad we finally got to connect up again. And I'm sure, I'll get back into the cycle of joining you guys for the big stuff.
Yeah. It's hard when your family's always growing and you're just trying to make sure that you're managing all your time everywhere. I really appreciate the fact that you gave so much of your time to me today, and we'll make it happen again in the future. And thank you so much. Thank you everyone for listening and watching on the show today. We will be back next week. Stephen Conway will be back, and we will probably get some epic rant about Aaron Wolf that we demurred on this week. Doesn't matter. I love the guy. I can't wait to hear what he has to say and all the details from his vacation away from me. So with that, I am Jeremy Finestone. This was Chris Samsa, and this is Speaking of Strong Stuff.